hot.
Testing. It works.
1, 2.
Test.
Check it.
Sibilant.
CITIUS MAG. Even the run.
Sibilant.
Not in those, but we do.
It's fake.
Okay, I think, can we do a little?
Elaborated. Okay.
Yeah.
Because honestly.
All right. Family fans to Orlando. I'm Chris Chavez, joined by my colleague here, Kyle Merber. Vibes are high here in Orlando. Less than 24 hours to go until the U.S. Olympic Marathon trials. Kyle, how are we feeling?
Vibes are very high. I think that was our biggest group run we've ever done.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I mean, an amazing number of free things were given out.
There's coffee, buttons, shoes,
Olipop,
t-shirts, Olipop.
Jenny's.
Lots of special things.
And now it kind of feels like we're on the Today Show. Like we have a crowd behind us. Can I get
Yeah.
like some vibes or something? Live with us on YouTube. I mean, let's just go back real quick before we dive into tonight's program. We've been called out a lot by athletes themselves for a prediction show last night.
Yeah.
So a lot is on the line.
So it's crazy to think that some of these athletes might be in their hotel room right now and being like, all right, this is the last bit of motivation I need before tomorrow is just see what these idiots are going to say on this live stream. But we're here for more. My mind has changed a little bit within the last 24 hours, but we're going to get to our final predictions. Before that, we've got a slew of special guests, and let's get right into it with our friends over from Believe in the Run. We've got Thomas, Megan, and Robbie. Let's give it up for the Believe in the Run crew.
Thank you.
Is your mic on, Robbie?
It was on now? I think it is.
I think it's on. Hey, you know what? We are super excited to be here. CITIUS MAG is like my cheat sheet because I didn't grow up doing track. We weren't those guys that started at track and moved on to college. And I had to find out what 400 meters was when I started running.
Like last week.
Yeah, like last week.
I actually just got yelled at by the security guard for trying to do a 400-meter Strava segment. I had this idea, create a segment leading into the finish line, and then tomorrow I'm going to cross-check how I did versus all the athletes.
Oh, I like that.
Get an idea, like, who was really crawling into the finish line, and the security was not having it.
Do you know who can do that really well? Mike Capuzzi.
Okay.
If you ever
We'll
see
find
his
a way.
videos, he runs with the athletes. So they're working real hard doing, long distance. And Mike just runs with them for a couple hundred meters.
When I watch his videos, I'm always impressed. I'm like, he's going to run into a stop sign one day, and it's not going to end well. But luckily for him, it hasn't happened. But for you guys, I guess the excitement of the Olympic marathon trials, what feels different compared to all the other races that you guys pop up at?
We're not running it.
That's the biggest one. Yeah. We just get to watch. It's the most fun.
So are you coming in with just constant debates on who your top three are, some favorites? You guys have had plenty on your podcast, The Drop. So, you have some of those friendly attachments to the athletes too.
Yeah, I definitely say there's a couple that are favorites just because we like them.
Our picks are definitely not based on stats at all.
We just looked at the athlete bio pages and we're like, I like this guy and this guy. We're kind of based our picks on vibes.
Yes.
So
Which usually wins. If you ever played fantasy football, and the person that I like the color of their uniform and they end up winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah, I'm just going off straight recency bias of who I heard did something impressive most recently, and so it just constantly changed. And I'm swayed by very silly things of oh, did you know they run a lot? And it's done. Forget, I know that their last 3 races have been trash, but now that I found out they're running 160 miles a week, maybe connected, they're my pick.
They're finally coming out.
Yeah.
Another thing from this weekend is the launch of the Hoka Cielo X1, which we have right in front of us. And I guess the cool part of this epic collab that the people have been waiting for between us is that we kind of bring in the track, running, geek, nerdy side of things. You guys bring the apparel, shoe, tech, just expertise. So for this shoe in particular, I mean, what stands out to you?
I mean, I'd like to toss this back to, like, Robbie, you love this shoe. Megan, you're a queen of Kush. Why don't you talk a little bit about what it is that you love about this shoe?
I mean, for me, what I love is that everything works together to give you a great, fun ride, bouncy ride. Like, what comes to mind the most when I run in the shoe is just fun.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you're just having fun in it. I think it's partly the rocker, partly the carbon fiber plate, the PIBA, just all comes together, and it's just an enjoyable time.
Yeah, what Robbie's talking about is really hard to define, especially, we've been reviewing shoes since 2009, and there's one element that, like, when we say fun,
In the color. Like, that's a fun color.
Yeah,
I
so
like
fun.
that shoe.
It's really hard to define. It's like when you go out for a run, when you leave your house, and you start getting in that bounce and you feel, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to enjoy this run. I'm 6 miles in, I'm still feeling fresh. That's, I think, where we're getting fun. It's like when running doesn't feel like work, and in this shoe, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those shoes where even if you don't feel like going for a run, you can lace that up and it doesn't suck as much.
Yeah.
If you had to go back and
That's-
review a shoe
wait,
from
can-
2009,
Yeah. Can we? Oh, which one you want? There's some dogs.
well,
in
just
there.
like compare it to this now.
Oh, I mean, it's changed so much. The foams is the biggest thing that's changed in shoes. So hard EVA. So when I first started doing marathons, I was in like the Fast Twitch from Saucony, which was a thin, like 10 millimeters of EVA. Your legs were beat up when you ran. When you finished a marathon or you finished your run, it hurt. That's when you see those memes of people walking backwards downstairs and stuff like that. Now with these foams, a person like Meg can go run 6 marathons like she did last year, stayed healthy the whole year. It's amazing. And this shoe and Hoka's shoes really do that well of protecting your legs and making sure that you get like a comfortable ride.
I mean, I think that's something that we heard from Ben Rosario yesterday talking about Lauren Higgins. Like, she only runs 75 miles a week, which for a marathoner is traditionally really low, but the shoes have changed so much, whereas you used to need to really harden your legs with 100-plus mile weeks for a long time in order to be able to handle that pounding for 26 miles. And now with the shoes, you get that assistance, and so you can benefit from having some fresh legs on race day. Yeah. And so, my idea of just picking whoever runs the most doesn't play as well as it once did.
I don't know. I still like it.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty cool.
What's the most fun part of like testing the shoes? Because it's got to feel cool from your guys' jobs perspective to like receive these things, and it's like I'm holding on to a secret here, and it's like when I go out for like a nice little 4 or 5 mile jog, it's like no one can take any pictures. Like you got to keep it under wraps. So like that whole part of your job must be fun.
Yeah. No, I think it's always nice when you show up to your group run with all your friends and they're like, "Whoa, what is
What are
that?"
those?
Yeah.
The meme.
You're like, no big deal. It's just like a shoe coming.
That's
like,
just
whatever.
the next $950 shoe.
Yeah.
How do you, if you don't like a shoe, that's got to be a challenge. A nice way of saying, don't get this shoe? Is it just, or is it just like if you don't love a shoe, just say it's a nice shoe, and then you get like more and more complimentary, and based off of how complimentary you got?
No,
Or do you trash a shoe if you don't like
really
it?
trash a shoe.
And it's also interesting because in 2024, we reached this point where running shoes in general are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's across the board. But I mean, there's definitely some ones in there that we won't mention on here. But that I would say even when we don't like a shoe, I always feel like there's somebody for that shoe. Like so, even if we personally don't. There's shoes that like if you don't like that, there's other people that like it. Like and so I try to go into a review saying like, yeah, this isn't for me. Here's why I don't like it. Why I personally think it might be a bad shoe. But if you like this type of feeling, then it might be good for you.
Yeah, if you like bricks on your feet and you want to hurt, this
But
is
like-
the shoe. If you're a sadist,
But there's
this
not
is the
that
shoe
many.
for you.
Right.
But there's
There's
like
not that many.
like nowadays,
But
in
here's
2024.
Typically, what we'll do is there's a couple ways. One, when we work with a brand, even like we're working with Hoka right now, when we say to them, hey, we're happy to help launch, we're happy to come out here, but we still have to maintain our integrity when it comes to reviewing shoes, because otherwise, what are we doing? So a lot of the brands are cool with that and actually welcome the feedback. Now, if a shoe's really, really, really bad, a lot of times we'll contact them and just say, do you want a review or do you want private feedback?
Okay.
So if you see a shoe that's real popular out there and you don't see any reviews on Believe in the Run,
Yeah.
The private
Or,
feedback.
like there's a lot of startup shoe companies who maybe are in the lifestyle space but make a running shoe.
Right.
Like they'll say, "Hey, can you review this?" And a lot of times they're pretty poor, so we'll say, "We'll give you some independent."
We should
feedback."
start doing that for athletes. Do you want us to tell you how you did in that race, or do you want some private feedback?
Yeah, that's perfect. So if you were to sum it up, who is the shoe for?
I'll let Robbie start. Megan, I think you have some strong opinions on this as well.
I mean, I think it's for the everyday runner to someone racing a marathon. I mean, it's like Robbie was saying, it's just such a fun shoe. I think anyone who likes cushion is going to like it.
You
think-
guys ran in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, Hoka said that they wanted to take something at both ends of the spectrum, an easy day recovery shoe and a race day shoe, and kind of make a shoe that embraced both those elements. And I feel like that's exactly kind of what this shoe does. It has the springiness, the pop, the roll of a race day shoe, but also has that easy ride of a recovery or easy day shoe. So I don't know.
What's kind of weird about the shoe, though, is when you put it on and you're walking for the first minute, you're like, uh-oh. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And then you start running, and it kind of just goes into a rail, so it's really nice. I don't think it's for someone who wants a walking shoe. Like, I know Hoka sells a lot of shoes to people that want comfort on their
Definitely
shoes.
not.
This is not that shoe. This is for a shoe for somebody who wants to run. I think it's for someone who wants those high mileage weeks. These are really great. We've just been, like, this is the only shoe we brought down here to get ready to review the shoe. We put miles on it. I think I'm probably at 100 miles on the shoe. You're probably there as
Yeah.
well. And it just, like I'm saying, like, you can really, I feel like it has a wide range of paces. You can do your easy day, but you can also start to pick it up and go. And the thing is that the recovery on it is amazing. Like my legs feel good. I'm on my feet all day while we're here. This is my second run in it today, and it feels good.
I'm thinking about your job as a whole. Like, that's probably, not something you pick on career day. Like, you're a firefighter, shoe reviewer. And you probably are forced to run. Like, you probably have days you don't want to go run, but you're like, damn it, I got these 5 shoes I got to go try, and they all need a fair shake.
Yeah. I mean, Robbie was just talking about this with plated shoes.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, because we got in sometimes you'll get a torrent of, say, plated shoes or speed shoes, and you're like, I don't really want to wear a plated shoe for a whole week straight, like a tempo race day shoe. But yeah, I'd say, like, that is, and then if you find a shoe that you really love, it's hard to get maybe all the miles you would want to run in that shoe all the time, but you're like, well, I got to move on to the next thing that's coming down the line,
And that's
It's
the
an
only
interesting-
area
yeah.
that, like, I think that sometimes we used to be able to judge a shoe's durability a lot better. We get more and more miles on it, and now we get the minimum we'll run in a shoe is 20 miles.
Okay.
And then, like, right now there's a shoe that I know is kind of changing over time, so I'm going to actually put 100 miles on it and then follow up review. But for the most part, we just can't. Like, there's
Yeah,
that
it's
many
like,
shoes.
do what you can, yeah.
So before you guys came on set, we told you, have your predictions ready for tomorrow's race. And you guys said that you guys have a collective
Hold on,
top
hold on.
3. Yeah.
We're doing homework
we're good.
on the plane.
If it was, our staff would never be able to come up with, like, here's our collective top 3. So this is going to be interesting. So do you each?
I also think it would be tough for you guys because we can just be like, we like this person,
Yeah.
and you can't play favorites because you got to look those people in the eyes.
No, we do.
play
We
favorites.
do.
Yeah.
We're not journalists.
Who do you hate?
I'll tell you off air. Yeah. So all right, hit us with let's start on the women's side.
All right.
All right.
Does it matter what order? Or are we just
Any order.
All right.
okay? I'm gonna say our first pick is Emily Sisson.
Okay. The
Easy.
American record holder.
Hot take. Hot
I mean,
take.
I know that one's pretty crazy.
Lazy, boring.
I shouldn't have said that one.
You want to go with the dark horse first?
No, well, I already said Emily.
We already
so
said Emily.
That's
Yeah,
out.
but that's first. That's
Oh,
out there.
Yeah,
dude.
that's out there. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, so then, I guess another not so hot take, Kira D'Amato.
The
Yeah.
most huggable athlete around.
And
Most
2-time
huggable.
podcast guest.
Yeah.
on-
There you
on
go.
the job,
There you go.
So,
And wore a costume on the podcast, so I appreciate that.
yeah.
But who's
All right.
who's our surprise?
Lindsay Flanagan.
That's
was my
smart
surprise.
pick.
Not anymore.
That's my dark horse.
We ruined the surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lindsay, one, she's very personable.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah, she
Yes.
can't pack a jacket faster than me. So.
Okay.
Runs a lot of mileage.
Does know trivia pretty well.
Oh, she's amazing
Yeah.
trivia guesser person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, runs
That's
a lot of
amazing.
miles. Yeah, and handled the boulder altitude pretty good.
There we go.
Pretty-
All right,
pretty
men's
good.
side.
Men's side.
Our favorite? Can we go with our favorite?
No, favorites last. We're saving
Okay.
the best for last.
We're gonna go Clayton Young.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Finally, somebody picked Clayton
picked-
Young. You're the first person.
Again.
We've, been,
Shocking.
we've asked thousands of people in Orlando,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
no one has picked Clayton.
All right.
I think what we liked about him was that when he did that 10-mile race up in New Hampshire, wherever that was, and that, he just showed like he knew how to finish a race. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna be a throwdown tomorrow. So
And then we're going Nico Montañez.
All right, there
There
you
we
go.
go. We haven't talked enough about Nico.
okay,
Yeah.
you know
he
why we're
ran-
going with Nico?
Yeah, go on.
Friend of the pod?
No, he is, but even better. He happens to, his coach is our coach,
All right.
and I just met his high school coach today, and he says he's looking pretty good.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
sources.
And he's the nicest guy in the world, but he has a sneaky killer mentality.
He does.
He took down Galen Rupp at the
Dude, his middle name's Rodolfo.
yeah, and so I'm
I
thinking
didn't know that.
if it comes down to it in the later miles, keep an eye out.
All right.
Nicholas Rodolfo Montañez.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, then who's the favorite?
Our favorite
Okay,
is...
Robbie.
You ready?
All right. So, wait.
Evan.
Why am I
Kevin.
thinking- I know. It's Kevin.
Salvano?
Yes.
Kevin Salvano.
Yes.
The confusion on your face.
Did you
We're
not know
going-
his last name?
We're
or-
going Kevin Salvano. No,
know
I was
it.
blanking out for a second.
Can we
We're
explain
hyping
why?
Kevin Salvano. The dude is the darkest of dark horses. He's top 20, 211 marathoner. Favorite post-race beverage, Busch Light, right off the bat.
Oh, you're just going off the program.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We don't know them the way you do.
Yeah.
Like you
Dude.
follow these people. You probably knew where he ran in high school
Yeah.
or something.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone knows Kevin drinks Busch Light.
So
Also,
we were hoping
I liked his tie.
to get like a Home Alone reenactor to yell Kevin like along the course, but we're not sure.
Can we get someone in the crowd to yell Kevin?
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara's out there somewhere.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can throw that together by tomorrow.
What were some of the other answers he gave that were very clever? His running memory.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yet. Not yet.
And
Like,
then
I
it was
actually hate this.
Yeah, and that's what the vibe. That was the vibe.
This is terrible.
his fun fact was I quit running after college, and he's 25. So it's like,
Oh,
I don't
It's
man.
like a gap year.
yeah, right.
We were
right.
trying to see if we could get big heads made.
Yeah.
And so that the fly zone, we could, hold him up and give him some love because I'm sure his family's not even here.
I don't know. He did.
Probably didn't tell him he's running.
Yeah, he's like,
He actually did
Going for
DM
John.
me after I tagged him.
Oh, he
you know,
did?
whatever. Yeah.
Awesome.
He's like, you guys are crazy.
All right. Well, he's our pick, so tell him to toughen up.
All right,
right.
I love it. All right, final thing before we let you go is like you
Can
have
we-
this chance to chat with us. I guess like, what are you most curious about that we could kind of help figure out? Is it the ranking system or how have people qualify? I don't know.
There's
What's
a
on your
ranking
mind?
system?
Well, there's a
guys
whole.
don't
thing
worry
about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, literally, I feel like you guys are at such a high level of what you do. Like, we're just honored to be, like, in the same space with you. Like, when we found out that we were going to get to do this with Hoka, I mean, we were like, no. Can I say it?
Yeah, you can curse here.
Yeah, no fucking way. CITIUS MAG.
Wait,
this is
we
the
can
cool-
curse?
Yeah. Let's go, Kyle. Let's
This
do
whole
them all.
fucking time.
You got that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Max got it.
I mean, it was incredible. Like for us, it was like it's almost like you're our weakness. Like you're our kryptonite. Your knowledge. Like people will ask us questions, and we're like, but they'll say.
But if you say
what's-
confidently enough, they'll
yeah,
believe you.
What's the durometer of this phone? We could be, oh yeah, that's a 55
We don't
right
know.
there. You know, it's pretty soft. We can't like all that stuff. Like when we went to Worlds, like I saw you actually knew stuff about track, and like we were like, that is so cool. So
Yeah.
like we could do like a boot camp with CITIUS MAG.
I love
It'd actually
that.
be
A
great.
master class.
Yeah.
It would, like for track for dummies,
Yeah.
racing
Let's
for
do that.
dummies, like that. Yeah. Like what? Like you probably maybe you haven't, but we interview athletes sometimes, and we probably ask the dumbest questions. Like you know,
We ask some dumb stuff
Well,
too.
have you guys ever done a podcast that kind of lays out the basics of.
Well, Kyle goes on Alley on the Run. He's here
right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And she gets a bunch of questions from her followers and listeners, and then Kyle just drops his knowledge.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
This is our most
I
valuable
explain
thing.
everything to Chris.
We did try to get Kyle on our podcast at one point.
Oh man.
And
You turned it down?
We got crickets.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Wow. Calling him out.
Talk to your
I said,
agent.
sure, I'll be there. Yeah. And we got Chris on, so we were like,
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on.
I guess I'll be on your podcast next week.
I think that's called twisting your arm. Yeah.
Now
All right,
that I
good.
have you face to face.
Love it. Well, enjoy the race tomorrow. Cheer loudly.
We'll be at the Fly Zone.
Perfect.
So if anybody wants to hang out, we're going to be at the Hoka Fly Zone.
There we
they
go.
got 2 giant big screens. People are going to go by like 4 times.
Yeah.
We'll get to say, Kevin! A whole bunch. So check it out.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. All right, let's give it up for the Believe in the Run
All right,
crew.
thanks, guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
It was a blast.
All right, next up, we're going to be joined by, I think he's still here, is our World Championship finalist and U.S. steeplechase champion in the house. There, I see. There we are. All right, we are now joined by World Championship 4th place finisher in the 5K, Luis Grijalva, and U.S. steeplechase champion Chrissy Gear of the Hoka Northern Arizona Elite Team. All right, guys, take the mics, hold them close. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Enjoying Orlando and all the festivities of the Olympic marathon trials?
Chrissy, what's going on over there?
She's going.
I was just choking right now.
Yeah.
Help her?
Does anyone at the CITIUS Cafe know CPR?
You guys know CPR?
Yeah. I don't. All right, Luis.
Luis, what's it like being at a meet that you don't have to race at? That's like a unique feeling all of a sudden.
It's pretty great. I don't have to worry about kind of going through the motions of getting ready to make the Olympic team. I basically I'm out here to have a good time, talk to people, and just talk about Hoka.
And sling some Olipop. I saw you out
Yeah,
there.
I
It
saw-
went quick.
Sold like 100.
Really?
Yeah. I
Sold 100?
I
think
they were free. I should have charged people. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, we're doing good right now.
Love it.
Oh, Chrissy Gear's here.
Chrissy, grab the mic.
Chrissy, how is it being at the meet without anything going on? Like, are you
It's a
getting
race.
nervous? Sometimes just staying in a hotel now, I still get like flashbacks of what it's like the night before a big race.
This is like the dream for me because I'm definitely still a fan of the sport, and so I love being here with no obligations and just being here to cheer. I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm like really excited, and I kind of want to fall asleep really quickly tonight so I can wake up really quickly and then just watch the race unfold.
It's got to be so hard to like try and pick out like who you're rooting for, because it's like when people ask you guys like for your top 3, which obviously we're gonna try and get from you two, but it's like you've got people who maybe you ran with in college, or you've got people just from the Flagstaff community, you've got teammates out there. It makes it really difficult. So like for you, has that been just like you're just telling everyone who you see, you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm rooting for you, you're in my top 3?
I'm not going to tell them if they're in my top 3 or not, but I'm definitely telling them I'm rooting for them. I've had to put a lot of thought into this, like the top 3 picks, because it's really hard. I feel like you guys are probably coming to the same like problem where there's probably 15 or more people in the field who have a really good shot at being the top 3. It just depends on how the day unfolds for them. And so, yeah, I think like 15 or more people would deserve to be in my top 3. And so I want to turn into a top 15, but it's like there's not enough spots, unfortunately. But that's like the cool and kind of unfortunate thing about where the sport is at right now is like, when we go to a World Champs or the Olympics, like there are more than 3 people deserving to be on that spot, and it's like only 3 make it. But just because you aren't on the podium, like advancing, to the Olympics or Worlds, it doesn't mean that you're not that level of runner or like that caliber of runner. That doesn't take anything away from you. So I hope everyone who's like racing tomorrow that they remember that, like even if they don't make the team tomorrow, they can walk away and be like, hey, I had fun, and they're proud of themselves.
We just want everyone to have a good time.
Yeah.
So as athletes, the night before the race or like the weeks leading in, are you privy to the predictions, the analysis? Like, does that...
Do you delete Instagram off your phone? Like, what do you guys particularly do? Because I know some people are like 3 weeks without Instagram or anything like that. Josh Kerr, I think, what was the rumor last year? He like totally
Got a
got a
burner,
different
yeah.
cell phone, and you only had like 3 contacts on there. So like, there's many different ways. Or are you guys just like, I'm okay with just opening Instagram the morning of the race and like taking my mind off things?
Yeah, for me personally, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what other people do. I know I have a journey, and as long as I stay on my own path, I don't really need to worry about other people. But it can be a trap, like kind of following what other people are doing and trying to be invested in other people's lives, and see where other people are racing or timing or what happens. But I don't know. I've been this is year 3 now
Yeah.
of being a professional runner, and it's normal now. Yeah, it's a custom.
So if like the night before the race, if I'm like, Luis has no shot, he's not, he can't do it. Is that any like motivation? Or are you like, you know what? I'm gonna think about that, and I'm gonna see Kyle afterwards in the mix zone. I'm gonna let him know I watched what he was saying, and I'm there to prove him and the haters wrong.
In all honesty, I wouldn't care. Because you don't see what I'm doing behind the scenes. You're not there day and night, and you're not there at the training camps or.
You never invite me.
But no, I don't care what people say. Like, people talk, and you just gotta live with the noise.
All right, we got permission to trash Luis
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah, trash as much as you want.
After the race, he's like, I lied. It actually did really bother me. That like hurt a
Didn't that
ton.
bother Clayton? Right?
Yeah, it did a little bit.
You got him though.
Well, he saw it. He laughed about it. So
Okay.
him and Eric are still friends though.
Okay.
So it was good. Chrissy, what about you? Do you delete Instagram?
No. Maybe I should.
You're active. I feel like leading into a big race, that's when you know someone's confident, right? Like,
I feel like that I'm trying to cover for the fact I'm not confident. If I'm posting a lot, it's like I need that outward, like, like someone's giving me attention. I'm like getting like, I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know, like not reinforcement, but no, I need to learn from people like Luis. I need to learn to be okay to stay in my own lane. Fortunately, I feel like I'm not that big of a name where like people like you guys are like, oh yeah, Chrissy, she can't do it, I think if people were to do that, I would have to delete my social media because I'm very sensitive, and if I saw that, I would probably cry or feel like really sick to my stomach and not be able to sleep that night. So that's definitely something that
No, I think I'm calling
need to
myself
work on.
out here because I tweeted that I was like, I think Olivia Marquez is just going to win the Olympic trials, and then I just got a favorite from you on Twitter. I'm like, oh, damn it, like bulletin board material.
Oh no, I love her. I think I could honestly.
But I was like, yeah, but you're in the same race, don't you?
But like, if I have my best day of my life and she has the best day of her life and it's ahead of me, like I still feel like I won.
All right, okay.
Like,
I was misreading the like. I guess that's
Yeah.
the thing. You can't read into it.
Oh no, I
was
like,
like,
I get so excited when I see that people do well.
I was
like
ready
she
to-
ran like 8:40 at Boston, and I was like, that was so cool. And so I don't know. I feel like seeing people do that is like, okay, if they can do that, like maybe I can do that, And so obviously that's a goal of mine is to run close to that time now too. But
well, it's got to be tough now that, last year you didn't have the same target on your back, but now you are in a position now where people are talking about you. Like, you've proven that you deserve to be in every single one of those conversations. And Luis, same thing. Maybe the first global championship, we're not paying enough attention to you, but at this point, it's like, of course you're in the conversation. We know that you're going to show up in championships. So how do you kind of recalibrate your mindset from the underdog to now having expectations?
Yeah, I think for me personally, Samuel Hoka, literally 2 weeks after NCAAs, and then ended up making the Olympic final shortly after that, and then 2022, I surprised myself and I got 4th in the world. And then in 2023 in Budapest, I surprised myself. No, I didn't surprise myself, but it was a rather much disappointing experience because I was just so close to a medal. And again, 2 years in a row, 0.2 of a second. And just, I think I'm just like a different athlete, different runner. And yeah, I think for me personally, the expectation is pretty heavy at times, but I think for me, I'm representing a whole country of 14 million people in Guatemala, but also at the same time, like, those people are looking for me to get a medal. And if I get a medal, man, the entire country would go insane, honestly. They would throw parades, parties, and they just take a lot of pride in their athletes, but it's a lot of pressure sometimes, but I think I just put the expectation on myself more than anything, honestly.
I want to go to that parade.
We'll go to that parade. We'll finally figure out what to use our airline miles for.
Yeah, we've got a lot of those.
Chrissy, what about you? Like, is it a different approach coming in this year now with like, hey, you've done it before, you got to do it again, and you know, for good reason, people believe in you.
I think just races in general. I just try to tell myself that, I don't know, it's like any other race, you know? And I think to give myself that confidence heading into the U.S. champs and heading into, you know, hopefully Paris, is to show up consistently in my races, and so that when it does get to like those high pressure races, I can be like, oh look, I've done it before. It's nothing special. It's just another race. And to be able to show up consistently like that in races starts with, you know, how do I show up in practice? Like, how do I show up in my day-to-day life? And so that's something that I'm really trying to like dial into and work on a lot this year.
So you guys have gotten the chance, I think, right, to run in the
Flexible.
Hoka
Jesus.
Cielo X1. What are your thoughts so far on the latest shoe?
Oh, it's a great shoe, especially if you're running fast. You know, I think the faster you go, the better the shoe is. But yeah, I had a couple of training sessions, and then when I was doing a threshold workout last summer, and I had a prototype of a pair of those, and yeah, it doesn't feel like my foot even. It feels like pillows. Like every step is so comfortable. You know, that rocker is really aggressive, so it just like propels you forward on your toes, and it feels like you're almost about to fall on your face, but in a good way. And it's just so comfortable, like the way it pushes you forward. It's like imagine somebody like you're running and someone's kind of pushing you kind of forward. It feels like that.
Nice. Chrissy?
I actually have only done one stride in them, and I like them, but I have heard that like they are very aggressive, and so they are better suited for like the faster the pace, like the better they're gonna feel. But I'm not doing anything fast enough right now to where I feel like it's required. So I think the first time I'll break them out, I'll do the Boston Road Mile again in April, and so I'll bring them out for that. So I'm really excited. But yeah, no, the one stride that I did in them, I was like, these are sweet, because I love the X2s, and so I feel like this is like a slight step up from the X2. So I'm really excited to put more miles on them.
I mean, how much confidence do you get out of seeing other Hoka athletes crush it in new product? I mean, like, if Footsum wins it tomorrow, it's like, oh, we got a new shoe, right? Like, and I think of like Adrian the other night runs 12:56, and it's like, all right, our spikes are as good as anybody and maybe better. Like, do you get a lot of confidence out of that every time like something new shows up at your doorstep, you crush a workout in it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I signed with Hoka in 2021, and the spikes that we had when I ran at the Olympics were, you know, probably like this much off the ground, like very thin. Not the stack height wasn't high, but nowadays like the spikes, the new foam, the rocker, the way the shoe's geometry is kind of shaped, it's unreal. And yeah, anytime a new shoe comes out, I'm always so excited because like the product team of Hoka has been working really hard to like have like the best equipment for shoes, and dude, I feel really confident, and I think no one's talking about what shoes people are wearing, and I think right now everybody's on the kind of on the same level. If not, Hoka might be better.
Love it. All right, Luis, you gave us your predictions yesterday, but let's refresh people's minds, and we've got a crowd here today. And Chrissy, you'll hit us with your predictions as well.
Gosh.
So, Luis, your top 3 men.
Yeah. So my top 3 men is Galen Rep.
For the win?
Yeah, I'll say Galen for the win.
All right.
Yeah, he just has that grit. He has experience, and I feel like for a race like this, you just need experience more than anything, because this isn't a major marathon. This is not a time trial effort. See who can hold on to the rabbits as fast as they possibly run. It's more of like a tactical race, making moves, and you know, Galen's, you know, he's king of that, and I think he has a really good shot of winning. And you know, Mike Smith trains him, so I don't see why.
That's like insider knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, you know something
Yeah.
that he's done recently that you're picking him for the win.
Sort of. I never hear anything about Galen because he doesn't live in Flagstaff, but yeah, I think he's in good shape. And then Bia. Yeah,
For your
Bia,
second? Okay.
second. He's my boy, you know, like we go way back, and I remember my first year pro, we did a lot of runs together. But yeah, he's been a long time coming, and you know, he's races a lot of the road race U.S. circuit, and he's always top 3, top 5 finishes, and he's really amazing. And then Footsum, yeah, Footsum's really good. I think he's a sneaky pick. I think Footsum, you know, multiple All-American NCAA guy in college, and yeah, he's really strong. And then on the women's side, I said Jessa Hansen
For the win.
for the win.
Wow, yes.
Because why not? I think it's her marathon debut. She has a lot of potential, and 26.2 whatever miles. I think she's gonna crush it. And then I said Emily Simpson for second.
Okay. You're like, I got to put the American record holder.
Right. And then I said Rojas.
Okay,
Yeah.
now Rojas.
Uh-huh.
Love it. All right, Chrissy, you're up.
Okay. I know that none of my top 3 picks are gonna be, turned upside down tomorrow. So. If someo's not listed, it doesn't mean I don't think they can be top 3. I definitely think they can be top 3.
Yeah, I know you have to see them after.
Okay,
It's
so I'm
tough.
gonna say Connor Mantz, Footsum, and Scott. Those are
Wobble.
my top 3 for the guys in no particular order. And then for the women's gonna be Emily, Alphine, and Kellen.
All right.
There you go.
There we go. All right, let's give it up for Luis Grijalva and Chrissy Gear, everybody. Thanks for joining us, guys. All right, the time has come after going to the press conferences this morning, going on runs around Lake Eola, and seeing some of the pros shaking out. Some of our thoughts may have changed on our top 3 picks from yesterday. So we're going to bring on our analysts who are going to be on the CITIUS MAG watch along tomorrow. We're going to go live at 9:30-ish tomorrow ahead of the race. The race starts at 10 a.m. We're going to be live giving our reactions, our analysis. We're going to be paying attention to all the important splits, not missing a beat on the CITIUS MAG YouTube channel. So you can watch the race on Peacock and then just pull us up on an iPad, on a laptop, or on your phone and watch along with us because it's going to be a blast. But we're going to have it. It'll be me. It'll be Kyle. And now let's bring on our other analysts. We've got Sara Masters and Eric Jenkins.
Hey.
Give it up. Eric, who has just gone viral on YouTube and Instagram in the last 24 hours for all the right reasons.
I feel like asking pro athletes their picks is that's a tough position. Like for Chrissy and Luis, their teammates are racing.
Yeah, not a good look to just not pick any of your teammates.
You have to go back. It's you're gonna go get your pasta dinner with them the night before the race, right now, and they're watching and they just heard.
Yeah, I just don't think you got it tomorrow.
All right, so let's start with
That's the garlic bread.
yeah. Let's have a good night tonight, but I just think it's going to be really tough for you out there tomorrow.
We gotta enjoy these moments while you're not in
It's
the top
good that
3.
you made it this far. It's going to be a hard race. Look, you've had a good training block, but I don't know.
Let's start with the headline that we kind of made from yesterday's show, which was that the 3 of us, Kyle, myself, and Eric, and it's because we didn't have Sarah's brilliance on our show yesterday because she was traveling in, that she probably would have picked Clayton Young to make the team. None of us picked Clayton Young. Eric said he has no shot. And the video made rounds, got around to Clayton Young. He shows up to the press conference this morning. He says, I've heard that I haven't been making people's top 3s. He's like, although I'm going into this race with the second fastest seat time, I feel like an underdog. And he had sunglasses on throughout the whole entire press conference. And then after he walks out, I was like, I need to get his reaction. And so then I talked to him and I said, did you watch Eric's video? And he was like,
Okay, hold on. I love how I have shouldered the entire brunt of this joke, and it was none of you guys, just me. Sure, fine, it was all me. But I think actually Clayton got the sarcasm that clearly soared right over your head. First off, I love Clayton. I'm on Clayton. I'm Team Clayton now.
Serious backtracking.
After his
All right,
response.
So who's out now that Clayton's in?
Connor Mantz. There can only be one BYU guy on the squad. Tough. I don't want to take Connor out, but I'm Team Clayton Young right now.
oh my gosh. So he took it in great stride, I think. And so, I mean, today's press conference featured Connor, Clayton, Scott, and Sam Chalenga. Galen Rupp was not part of it, but we did hear that he's in good spirits. He actually walked by the cafe, gave us a wave, and I was like, all right, that's a good sign for Galen. So
Wait, did he wave?
Yeah, this time.
Apparently,
earlier
there was
today.
like a potential podcast
Yeah.
that almost broke out this afternoon.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he waved.
You weren't here, and it was like, we needed Eric here to host the whole thing. All right, and then Sarah, you weren't here yesterday, so you've had extra time to think of your top 3. Where's your heart at?
Where's my heart?
Yeah.
So my heart is a little thrown off, honestly, because Luis was just up here and had so much confidence in his picks, and he's got kind of that Flagstaff inside track, and so it almost made me second guess.
But then you've got the Boulder inside track.
I do, and I'm picking Scott Fauble for my number 1 on the men's side, absolutely, unequivocally. My teammate, I will be cheering for him, and I'm so excited for Scott. He's had a great training block, and really looking forward to seeing what he can do out there. And then I will pick Connor Mance, and I will pick Clayton Young.
Okay.
You can't do that.
They won't send that team to Paris.
You just
Too
can't.
many BYU guys.
You can't do it.
And then on the women's side?
My picks on the women's side, I pick Emily Sisson, number 1. I think you absolutely can't bet against Emily Sisson, especially the form we've recently seen her in. Off day at Chicago, and yet here she is, top American, finishing super strong, running fast. And in my second place slot, I have Betsy Sena, who's been phenomenal throughout her entire career across all distances. And I think we're only going to see her get better, as she learns the ropes in the marathon, continues to just build her skills there. And I think we haven't seen what she can do. So she's in some ways a bit of a wild card, has run some warmer races where she's winning. And so excited to see what she can do out here head to head against other American competition. And then my number 3 slot, I have Sarah Hall, who, kind of to speak to the earlier point about experience being a differentiating factor amongst the athletes here. Sarah's got that in spades. So I'm picking Sarah for my number 3 spot. This is her 8th Olympic trials, and I would like to see it be the one where she makes the team.
They say 8th time's the charm.
They do
at
say
Olympic
that.
Trials, yeah. So, Kyle, have you had any wavering thoughts in the last 24 hours?
I don't feel good about anything.
Really?
No, I think if it was obvious, then this wouldn't be so much fun.
Yeah.
And I've gone back and forth constantly. On my picks yesterday, I didn't have Keira D'Amato in, and if you just say that sentence, I don't think that's a stupid sentence, and I shouldn't be handed a microphone for saying that she's not in my top 3. That is objectively bad. And so, but then it's well, then who am I taking out? And you just kind of go down the line. You're I think we need new proposal. I think the U.S. needs to split into a few countries.
Okay.
For many reasons, but primarily my primary
Wow, Kyle.
my primary reason is we need to spread out our
Unbelievable.
resources on the Olympic marathon scene. Because it's crazy that we get 3 slots and there's other countries with 1 million people that get 3 slots. It feels like we should break this up a little bit and I feel like we should
get a few more seats.
We should get House of Representative style. We should get 12 slots. And I just feel like that would make the predictions a little easier.
We'll definitely make the predictions easier. Probably would make the races a little less exciting. It'd be good for the athletes, though. They'd come into the races with a little bit different of a headspace.
Yeah. On my behalf, I think. Oh, it's tough I think I might take Galen out and put Clayton Young in.
Good.
You guys had this whole
kiss
wink
that
thing,
podcast goodbye.
No.
What happened?
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm on the fence
He's
about it.
gonna
I
take
still
back
need a
that
couple more
wave.
hours. I think I'm gonna filibuster here for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Until I come to grips with what my final 3 are gonna be. My picks are still boring. I think. That's just me.
Not the people. The people are interesting.
Yeah.
They're interesting. They're nice people. But by
people.
picking 3 favorites on both sides, it's just
Just to look smart. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, you'll be wrong.
I think so.
100%. And I
Abdi is gonna win.
if Abdi
Make
pulls
this
this out,
It'd be crazy.
just to touch on, I think an important thing is can you see this person winning the race? If you don't see a world in which an athlete is winning the race, then I don't think they're making the team.
Do you want to play a game where I just rattle off a name and you say yes or no whether you see that person winning the race? Respectfully?
It's an easy game, yeah.
Okay.
As long as Eric and Sarah kind of
Sure, I'll
All
play.
right.
play along.
CJ Albertson.
No, I don't think he can win the race.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, yeah.
See, I'm going to be the only one saying no on people. This game's going to suck real quick.
Yeah.
I think CJ
Eric?
can make the
Yeah,
team
I could see CJ. I
In
could
a-
see CJ
winning the race.
in a
Yeah,
hot
sure, why
day,
not?
which it's been warm. But I think I don't think the flat course favors CJ. Is that like he's a self-proclaimed best downhill runner in the world?
There's no downhill on this one.
There's no downhill. Like, I just don't know if the course favors his running style. I think if this was like a 2:10 winning race, I then really do like CJ. I think it's going to take 2:07s across the board on the men's side to win.
So in that same, like what you said, you don't see him. He doesn't have a shot at making the team.
He's not in my top 3.
Yeah.
No, and he wasn't in my like close consideration. So I'll be the bad guy. No one else can be the bad guy.
Yeah,
I'll be the Stephen A. Smith giving my like true opinions for 1 second.
Yeah.
Lindsay Flanagan, you said yes.
I think Lindsay's 9th at Worlds is so criminally underrated just because of the temperature. If you look at everyone who is around her, how everyone else ran time comparison versus their personal best, it's like then we should be treating her like she's a 220, 221 athlete, and we're not doing that. We're treating her like a 224 athlete. And apparently Sara, who runs with her occasionally in Boulder, was saying that she went down to Australia to train with her coach, which they're normally remote, and has put together like a really great block, runs 140 miles a week. I think that we're not giving Lindsay the respect.
I'm just picking names out of thin air.
Do
Kevin Selbon.
do you see?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I gotta get. Kyle's been nonstop talking about Lindsay Flanagan. He's like he believes in her so much. Lindsay, if you're watching this, my God, you got the biggest fan in Kyle. I definitely like Kyle just said. I mean, you don't get that type of performances without being incredibly good, incredibly talented. 9th at Worlds is. I mean, that's unbelievable. So, of course, you can translate that into making the team and potentially winning the race.
And I would add to that, too, I think the fact that she went to Australia to kind of try to replicate the climate here, try to prepare for that as best as possible. Obviously, we've seen a lot of athletes doing that in different ways. But to me, that shows her mindset is, we're going for broke here. Like, we're really doing this. We're committing to a training block halfway across the world. We're going to replicate the conditions as well as we can. Yeah.
All right, I want to get some crowd work going. Who do you want to hear from? Like, shout out a random participant, and we'll analyze that person right now. Fiona O'Keefe, good one.
Yeah.
Do you see her winning?
I see a world in it. She's not in my top 3, but I don't disrespect those who are putting her in the top 3. When she debuted in the half, she was the fastest American half marathon debutante ever. She's very, very accomplished on the track. She actually has had a really long block as well because her track season was cut short. So whereas a lot of people were, racing marathons into November, I didn't think that made sense for an early February build, whereas she's had a really long, intentional build-up, and everything we hear out of Coach Alistair Craig is like she's built for the marathon.
Yeah. Sarah, you at the Airbnb were throwing out scenarios where you can potentially see Natasha Rogers on the team.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. I have a ton of respect for Natasha, and she's one of my favorite people to watch race. And a big part of that is that there's nothing she can't do, right? Like, she's kind of come out of the woodwork and pulled off some really, really surprising, really bold performances through the years. And so I will not be surprised at all if we see Natasha top 3, if we see Natasha winning the whole thing. And I think you guys talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I think being a bit naive to the distance appears to occasionally play into people's favor, just not being afraid and going for it.
All right, let's do 2 more names. Someone shout out. Molly Huddle, good one. Molly Huddle and Jenny Simpson.
Why do I have to keep having to start? Molly, I would have said a month ago, I saw it, and then she had a 10K tune-up in which she just didn't run that quick. Like, it would have had to been another 20 miles at that pace to be in contention, so that makes me nervous. But again, like, you don't know what someone's doing in the build-up and, like, how tired of legs. Like, Galen Rupp's my pick, and he didn't run well in Houston. And it's like, I'm just assuming he's running too many miles to be at all sharp. I would love if Molly made the team. That would be awesome, but, like, she's not in my top consideration. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Molly's such a veteran, and she's so experienced on the roads that she hasn't had quite the same performances that when she was on fire and winning everything. That it hasn't been like that as of late. But you could never say I wouldn't put her in my top 3, but I'd love to say love to see.
We've seen her win enough U.S. titles that it's like, can you see her win? Yeah. Like, yeah, you can see her win. I've seen it 27 times or something.
Yeah.
All right, give us one more. A crazy Zach Panning.
Kyle, another guy that Kyle has been.
I'm a big Zach Panning guy.
Panning fan.
Well, it's the same data point that I'm looking at is how he finished at Worlds. He was 13th at Worlds, surrounded by a bunch of 207 guys, and we're not treating him as if he's a 207 guy. And to what I just said, I think you need to be running 207 tomorrow in order to make the team. And just like the company that he keeps, I believe it. I also I spoke to him for the lap count, and he's oozing with confidence. This build-up's gone so much better than his previous build-ups, which had strong results. And so if you kind of just extrapolate, I see it. I definitely see Zach. He's my third pick.
Yeah, it's such a big advantage to do what, to compete and be in finishing high up at Worlds against really, better runners than are here for the most part. And then it makes coming back and competing against the Americans a lot easier. And Zach's, he's not necessarily a guy like Galen who's got all this, the quite stacked resume, all that type of stuff. But that's got to give you a ton of confidence to get on the start line and know that not only can you run with these guys, but you should be beating these guys in a lot of races.
Does it feel like it's like Christmas Eve right now? Like when it's like tomorrow, it's going to be this thing we've been waiting for the longest time. But at the same time, only 6 people are going to get back on a plane.
Imagine
really
if Santa was like 6 kids are getting gifts this year. Everyone else is getting coal, and that is the Olympic trials.
Basically.
Yeah.
That would make his Christmas a lot easier travel-wise.
Oh my God. He's like, I'm going to save so much money this year that I only have to get 6 gifts.
I really like this new gift-giving protocol.
A question that I was asking some of the pros there, and you guys can provide insights having competed at U.S. championships and Olympic trials, but how do you go to bed tonight? I know the last couple nights of sleep have probably been really important, but tonight, the night before the biggest race that the last 4 years of your life have been building up to, how do you force yourself to go to sleep?
Well, I mean, you don't first off think about you walking around thinking, oh, this is the last 4. You're not brushing your teeth, saying everything has led up to this moment, and it's going to be very tough to go to sleep. You're really trying to treat it like another race. Treat it it's just another day at the office. It's not the guy who's the most fired up who's going to win tomorrow. It's the guy who's the calmest and who's not nervous and who's acting like he's been there before, even if he hasn't. It's if you're lining up really with pumping with adrenaline, it's a long day. It's a long race. So these guys are like Clayton Young turning off his phone. You're not giving any attention to that unless you bring it up and say, Jenkins has been talking a lot of crap about you. So yeah, you're going through. You're really not trying to tell yourself it's the biggest day of your life tomorrow.
Was there ever a moment where you were like, I want an Eric Jenkins story of a day you were too fired up for a race?
Yeah, I mean, there were races I remember NCAA cross countries, not championships. I didn't sleep at all. 1 year before when I was at Northeastern, I didn't get any sleep. Because I was too fired up. I was telling myself this is the biggest race of my life, and would have loved to sleep, honestly.
Maybe it would have gone better.
You definitely would have helped. You never want to get in the start line thinking that you pulled an all-nighter. It's never good. So yeah, I had moments like that. But then the longer you do it, and the next year you go, I've done this before. I've raced with having no sleep and tossing and turning all night, thinking it's going to be the worst race ever, and kind of all those you're telling you're doubting yourself, all that. So the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, the more you realize. And when you have bad races at big moments like this, you realize it's not the end of the world, and that it's just the person that's putting the most pressure on yourself is yourself.
Sara, Mike Smith watches Armageddon the night before the NCAA cross country championships. You strike me as someone who's zen. Did you have things that you do before big races?
What if I just said I watch Armageddon as
Then,
well?
then Armageddon streams on Netflix tonight are going through the roof in Orlando. So do you have anything in particular?
No, not at all. Just like to stay relaxed, stay with my people, be with friends. Last night after I got in from the airport, you guys have heard all about this, but I DoorDashed some ramen and sat there in the silence and ate it and thought, this is ultimate happiness. And that's kind of how I'd like to be the night before a race, just totally relaxed.
Kyle, you were puking before races constantly.
Yeah, well, I think like when we think about these marathoners, like part of the reason why they're such good marathoners is because of their ability to stay calm under pressure, and especially in the marathon more so than the track, like the ability to keep your heart rate down and stay calm is even more important. I mean, like from a fueling standpoint, if you're redlining, you're not going to get those early bottles in, and the gels are not going to be digested, and that's like when you're going to run into problems. And so part of the reason why the athletes that we're talking about are we're talking about them because they've shown a professional approach and ability to do this time and time again. And so, like, would I be freaking out? Like, of course, and that's why I'm not. That's why I don't do it. That's why I'm not racing tomorrow, and they are. And that's what makes them such great marathoners.
All right. Well, we're going to try and find a way to get to sleep as well because we're just really excited. We've been counting down the days for this, and it all goes down tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. We'll be back here for the CITIUS MAG watch along, and then the race starts at 10 a.m. You could stream it on Peacock and then have us up on a second screen as your companion. And yeah, I'm ready to go crazy.
I mean, we are in unbelievable territory, just so like the crowd here knows, like they're going to run by here 4 times. And as a fan, you can just run up and down a few blocks like an unbelievable amount of times and just watch the entire race. They'll have big screens in the fly zone. We have big screens here that are going to have the race on. And so like from a spectating standpoint, this is a really, really good marathon to be a part of.
Yeah. All right, well, that does it for the CITIUS MAG final prediction show. Hit us with your predictions in the comments section. Tweet at us. Let us know. We've got 2 prediction contests running on our Instagram where you can win a pair of the Hoka Cielo X1 if you guess the top 3 and then the winning time of the winner. There's like over 1,000 submissions on this thing. It's going to be a pain to try and go through, but we will get some shoes out to the winners. But catch us tomorrow. Stay tuned on all the CITIUS MAG channels. We'll be giving you updates, photos, just everything. It's going to be incredible. I love marathons.
We love marathons.
We love marathons.
Have a good night, everybody.